class because I'm going to be with Mark today on Tuesday, April 27th, when you might be watching this, although it's recorded so you can watch it at any time, because he's having a new knee put in. The other day I was texting someone, and you know how that happens, and I had written in BEE instead of NEW, knee, so he was getting a B knee, and so I brought back the little saying about the bee's knees, right? I think that means things are really like cool and cute if you have the bee's knees. But anyways, he's getting a bionic knee, I suppose. So anyways, this is a recorded class. I hope that you're still joining us, because I still do put in the hour to be somewhat with you. So this is a chair class. I have a chair. I have I'm in a room that's supposedly one of the brightest rooms that I have here at the house, but it seems to be a little dark, so I've got some extra lighting. I'm going to turn that one down just a bit so it's not coming at you as it is right now. We're going to start actually standing. And so I'm going to get up here and move back to my chair. If you have blocks, great. If you have straps, great. That would be nice. If you have a nice padded chair already, perfect. If not, have a little blanket there for you, okay? And we'll go ahead and get started. So today's will be recorded, and Thursdays will be recorded as well. The Tuesday and Thursday chair classes, and also the Wednesday mat class will be recorded. So just so you guys know, I'm missing you and virtually live, but at least you know I'm thinking about you as I'm preparing and doing these classes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this light kind of away so it's not so obnoxious. And take your chair, and you can have it in any direction. Maybe like this would be a little bit better. And we're just going to do some work standing a bit with the chair support, because I want to make sure that you all are being able to connect with the earth with your feet in a good, healthy way, so that each time we take those steps, we're taking them in a stable, secure, progressive way that's going to keep us upright. So take a look down at your feet. And maybe some of our feet in time have started to turn in or out, one side or the other. See what it takes in your upper legs and the bones and the muscles, the tendons, ligaments, everything, to try to bring that foot in or out if one is starting to sway in one direction or the other. See what happens. And if there is pain involved in that, then what has happened is that our bodies has started to learn that that is what's the way it's supposed to be. So we don't want you to be in pain, but we do want you to notice that. And then little by little, just trying to ease that foot in or out so that they can run parallel to one another. So I'm looking down at my feet. You can't see them, but I can. Just looking down, and wherever they're beginning to line up, they should be so that they're under our heel is under our hip, and the toes are forward. And again, if that's not quite how yours are, then let's just notice that, and then just be a little bit more mindful of that as you progress. And then we're going to take our hands down onto the chair. And so what that has done is it's flattened out my spine. It's spread my hips apart a bit, my sit bones. And I feel that still weighted evenly on the four parts of each foot, the two front parts, each the left and the right side of the ball of the foot, and the back heel, the left and right side. And just kind of pay attention to that a bit. Maybe pick up your toes so you can feel those four kind of bony places that we're going to make sure we're kind of focused on when we're standing. Don't want to hyperextend your knees at all. Some of you might have knees bent here, and that's okay, because perhaps there's some tightness through the hip and into the back of your thigh and down into your calf. So bend the knees according to what feels right for you. maintaining that straight spine. Now we're really going to bend into one leg and let the hip kind of shift as well and feel what happens there. Now let's just hang out here. So we're lengthening through one side as we kind of relax into the other. And I'm going to straighten out that other leg as much as my body allows and sink into the opposite knee. Watch and feel that other hip drift over to one side. And I'm still just looking straight down at my chair. My hands are helping to assist in that weight of and the distribution of the weight of my body. I'm coming back, and then I'm going to bend into both knees. And then take myself up, bend into both knees. And again, knees are forward now. We're not in a goddess where our knees are out. We're in this neutral position. And then bring myself back into a straighter leg. And again, for some of us, it might still be quite bent. And then just bend into them a little bit more than you have already. And then bring yourself up. And now take your hands into fists and place those onto the top of the chair, because by this time, maybe your wrists are starting to take a little bit too much weight. And then see if you can come up onto the balls of your feet, or at least off of your heels a little bit. And then slowly take your feet down. Bring yourself up onto and towards the balls of your feet, and take yourself down. And just repeating that. I'm doing it with my breath, rising up, inhale. Slowly coming down on that exhale. So take it slow so we don't just like let gravity overtake and that our heels come thumping down to the ground. Feel this when you rise up, opening up the front of your ankle, squeezing into the Achilles tendon. And then when you take your heel slowly down, feeling that opening up in the Achilles tendon and that lengthening. Let's do two more. Rising up and then taking ourselves down onto our heels and bend into your knees. Take your hands to the back of the chair now. And this is chair pose, right? Without, we will do chair pose sometimes seated in the chair with our arms up. But in reality, when we're doing chair pose standing, Utkatasana, this is it. We are trying to lengthen up our spine, lower down into our sits bones, lengthen our arms out nice and straight, usually at about shoulder height. But for us, let's just keep our hands here. And then go ahead and lengthen up. Bring yourself down. Take your forearms to the chair. Bend into both knees. Let your belly drop. Okay, we've been keeping that straight spine. So now bend the knees, let the belly drop. So it drops onto our thighs here. Let your head hang. We've been keeping everything nice and straight. Let things round here just a bit. And breathe. Really let that chin sink to your chest. And then beginning to lengthen the legs, coming back to that straight spine. Take your hands to either side of the chair. Not to either side, one hand on one side, one hand on the other side of the chair, so that you're holding on there. And let's go into cat and cow. So right now we have that neutral spine. And then I'm going to bend my knees and take myself looking up. Okay, raising up the bridge of my nose. And then I'm going to straighten my legs and come into curl and tuck and round into myself. Bend into my knees and come into my cow pose. Straighten my legs, tailbone comes up and curl and tuck and round. Feel that in your spine there. And I'm going to do that 2 more times, bending, raising up the bridge of my nose, raising up that tailbone, and then straightening And curl, tuck, and round. One more time. Let myself lengthen up, shoulders pull down. And then lengthen the backs of my legs and come down. Okay, we're going to switch that up now. So this time we are going to keep our legs long as we look up into cow. Still inhaling and bending as we curl tuck round. Letting our hands take weight, lengthening, tailbone rises, and the bridge of your nose rises, and curl tuck round, sink into your knees, your crown reaches towards the chair, and then lengthening legs, lengthening spine, going through neutral and into cow. And then exhale, curl tuck round. Let's do 2 more of those, please. And then taking yourself up. And let's go ahead and just bend into each knee. Let your hips go left and right. Let your waist go in and out. Good. And then from here, bend into your knees and just begin to slide your hands up your thighs so that we're standing nice and straight. I'm going to turn the chair. The tall part next to me. Okay. I'm going to take one hip next to the chair. I'm going to come back and look at my feet, line them up, find that nice connection, and begin to lift up and down, finding some strength in my calves, in my legs, finding balance here, holding on. If this is a lot to do it with just one side, then go ahead and face a chair, and that might be a little bit better for us anyways. Facing the chair and coming up and down. Yeah, and then I'm going to go ahead and walk out again. Walk my legs back, stretch myself forward, look down at my feet. Did one come in and the other go out? Or am I finding them trying to run like railroad tracks, parallel to one another? Good shoulder stretch here. Good breath. And if you like, you can let your head release and let it hang. And your knees may still be a little bit bent because the backs of your thighs, hamstrings, or your calves are really tight, and that's okay. Lift your head, lift your sits bones up, your hips. Walk yourself forward towards that chair. And let's stand here. Look down at your feet again. And before we get seated in the chair, let's go ahead, lift one knee up towards the back of your chair in that neutral position, and then take it down. Try to place that foot flat and parallel, running next to the other one. Go ahead and lift that other leg up. Hold on to the chair. Remember, we're pressing down. We're never pulling back, right? And then let that foot come down. Check into your feet. Now go ahead, raise the left leg up. And let's turn that knee out. Foot comes out. Bring it forward. Take it inward. Feel that right here in that psoas, that side strip that runs from here to here. Bring your knee back. Place your foot down. Take the other knee up. That's my right knee. Take the knee out. That means my hip comes out as well. Take it forward. And I'm going to cross over. Yeah. And I'm going to feel that again in that side of my hip. Feels really good. That internal rotation. Bring myself back. take myself down. And then I'm going to take my legs out, and I'm still using the chair. Now, let's look down at our feet. Let's try to have our feet still running parallel to one another, okay? But we have our legs out farther. So still parallel to one another. I'm going to bend into one knee, and my hip comes out on the other side. Straighten that knee, bend into the other knee, hip comes out, rise up, bend, and just do a few of those. Just taking that bend ever so slightly. One more time each side. Good. And then can we rise up onto the balls of the feet again and work into those ankles, and then come on down. This time take weight into our heels, and you'll feel that here as well, in your hips, taking weight, coming back, and then pressing feet down. And now let's go ahead and come into pigeon toes. So I'm taking my toes in, and I feel that spread in the back of my sits bones here. And from here, I'm going to go ahead, lift up, come down. 2 more times, lift up and come down. So we're working a lot on some different types of rotations in our hips, taking those feet neutral again. So again, let's pay attention to trying to find neutrality in our feet, running parallel to one another throughout our day, unless we are purposefully trying to take that internal or external rotation for one reason or the other. Now let's go ahead and externally rotate by taking toes out, heels in, right? And you can't see me, but if you could, then I chop my head off. So let's just see how this works here. I think you know, heels in, toes out. From here, take a little bend, okay, like we would into our goddess pose. And we'll do more of those seated in a little deeper variety. But right now, just find yourself dropping down a little bit, rising up, exhaling down, rising up. Two more. Good, and then take the feet neutral, all right? Neutral again means toes forward in alignment with your heels right behind them. And then let's go ahead and heel toe, walk our feet in. And let's stand in Tadasana. And again, even though this is a chair class, and we'll get back in the chair in a moment, I want you all to also take really good consciousness of our feet and how they connect to the earth, and how when we're standing straight and tall, are we really? Have we taken our shoulders back a bit? Have we stacked all of our joints on top of one another? And we have our shoulders pulling down. And another place to be aware of is right here, pubic bone, tailbone. So I want to like lift on that pubic bone and press the tailbone straight down, not tuck it in like a dog that's afraid, but straight down, and this lifts forward, okay? So maybe even if you take your hands into the pubic bone and down into the tailbone, and just see what I mean by that, so that we're not here, tailbone lifting, pubic bone in, we're not this way, tail tucked, pubic bone way extended, but having that good balance right in this sacral area here in this pelvic region. Let's take a couple breaths. We're gonna get in that chair. Good. All right, let's go ahead and sit in that chair. Finding yourself seated. And finding again your feet neutral, right? So just as if we were standing in mountain, we're now seated in mountain. Head, ears, right earlobes above my trapezius, right here. Okay, so I'm gonna pull my head back a little bit, shoulders coming down and hands coming down. And I'm going to adjust this so that you can see my feet better now. I'll stay lower now. Almost not see my head for just a minute. Let me fix this. Pull back. Here. I think you'll be able to see my feet. Not quite. But if needed, I'll adjust that again. So, but my feet are running parallel to one another. Okay, so straight. Toes or the ball of my foot in alignment with the heel. Okay, and then let's just take some shoulder rolls, pulling them back, because we so often find ourselves pulling forward in our day. It's nice to take the shoulders in that opposite way. And then let's start to like we're swimming, but we haven't taken the arms yet. We're just working with those shoulders. And then start to take those arms just fluidly behind you, doing the backstroke of it, going through that water. And then let's take them forward into, what they call this, the crawl, I think. Chris knows. She's a swimmer here. And you feel that when you do that into your waist as well. And then coming back into stillness, let's take our head, our neck, chin to chest. Roll that chin towards your shoulder. Exhale, take yourself back down into center. Roll with an inhale up to that other shoulder. Yeah, feel that. And take yourself down. Roll on over. Exhale, take it down. Roll over it. This time, take it on down into center. Lift your head up so that chin is parallel to the ground. And let's let one ear come to one shoulder. Feel how that other shoulder wants to hike up. Try to bring it down. Let that arm extend out. Put some energy into it if you like, to see how that reacts to your neck muscle. And you can take some circles here. Feel that. Loosening up. Extend through those fingers even more. And then your hand places back on your thigh. The other hand comes to the side of your head. And help yourself come back up from that nice long neck stretch. And now I'm coming over to one side. Shoulder pulls down, wants to lift up. So I have to work to keep that shoulder down. The other hand can extend out, open those fingers, maybe come to fists and then extensions. Maybe do some circles. Doing something that will take our mind off of what's going on in our neck right now. Or maybe assisting in a little more sensitivity there. Use your breath, the heaviness of your head. This hand comes back, the other hand lifts and help you to bring your head back on straight again. Arms come up. Interlace fingers, take them behind you, and let's just circle around here a bit with our elbows, with our shoulder, and come around in the opposite way. And then take our hands behind us. Rest your head into the palms of your hands. Let your chest open, let your shoulders open, let yourself rest like you're just hanging out somewhere. Taking some good breaths here. And then taking and dropping one shoulder down, one elbow down, one elbow up. Now let your head rest on the forearm of that upper arm. And then releasing, this hand comes down, comes on over and attaches to that elbow. And let's take ourselves over here. Pressing down into feet, keeping our knees in alignment with our hips, feet in alignment with themselves. And then bringing yourself up and taking yourself over in that opposite direction. And bringing myself up here, releasing that top hand. Take it down to the chair, a seat, or leg. Extend the other arm up and slide on over. Inhale. Exhale, way down. Inhale. Exhale, take it down. Rising up, inhale. Exhale, take that hand on down. Good. Both arms come up, interlace in the opposite way, push away. Take your arms behind you, and this time let's take some circles again for opening up those shoulders and reversing. And always, 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 because I'm not here with you to talk to you today, to hear what's going on. You all need to take care of what's going on for you and make sure, go ahead and rest your head back into the palms of your hands, and your shoulders and elbows pull back and your chest open up. So you all please make sure you're taking care of yourselves, right? Knowing what works for you and what doesn't. Being honest and true and good for your own bodies. Not letting your minds play any tricks on you. And then coming up, let's lift one elbow and drop the other one. And feel that as a tricep stretch. And let your head rest back on that forearm. And then letting one arm come down to the chair leg, the chair side, the other arm lifts up. Take yourself on over. Lengthening. Finding depth. Reading your own body cues with your own breath, bringing yourself up, releasing that arm comes down, arms up, bring them back, and then bring them forward, curl into yourself in a hug, chin to chest. Lifting into neutral spine, open up, and then coming in to that flying arc. Chin lifts, chest lifts, heart lifts, and then wrap around yourself in the opposite way. Curl, tuck around into yourself. Rising up. Take yourself back. Express through your heart. And then reversing that again. Remember what arms on top. Come on, open up. And take the opposite arm on top. Now tuck it around into yourself here. And then rise up. Exhale, arms come down. And now take one hand to the opposite thigh and hold on there. The other arm lifts up and let's come over. If we released here, we would fall down. So don't do that. Hold on. Let your weight come down as your arm keeps you strong here from falling over. And you work through your breath in that extension of that side body. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, take it on down. Release the other arm. Let both hands relax down. Let's just take a few pumps into fists and then release into fingers. And then we'll do the other side. You may feel one side warmer, longer, more active than the other. So let's equalize that. I'm going to cross over to the opposite thigh. Take the other arm up, lengthen first. So in breath, take myself over. So you may only come a little ways, right? Because your body weight on the torso is heavy. And again, if you get too much and you let go of this hand, you may find yourself coming down to the side there. We don't want that. We want you to be active and supported here in this side stretch. Finding your depth. And your length. And bringing myself up. Releasing. Releasing. Few breaths here. Checking into my feet again. Well, one came before the other. You want to have knees and ankles in alignment, feet parallel. I kind of keep just working on that, right? Each one of us will keep working on that in the way that we end up finding ourselves naturally coming into maybe a disalignment of some sort. All right, now we're going to do something similar to that, only this time really engage both sides of our body, arms lift up. And let's take ourselves over with both arms extended. Press down into your feet. Press down into your sits bones. Nobody's going to fall over because you've got the strength of your core, your arms, your legs, your whole body here, working to suspend you in space. Bring yourself up. Inhale. Let's do 4 cactus arms. Exhale, cactus arms. Look up. Pull down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale up. And exhale. Pulling down, looking up. Rising up. Let's take ourselves over. Find that suspension. Find whatever depth your strength allows. Pressing into feet equally, into sits bones. One's going to want to lift a little bit more. See if we can press down there. And then bring yourself up. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take those hands on down. Good. And then I'm going to extend one arm out, one leg out, the opposite, and take some circles. Just find that coordinated movement and reversing. Notice which way, clockwise or counterclockwise. One of mine is going one way, one's going the other. And now I'm going to take them in the same direction. So if you had them in the same direction, go clockwise, counterclockwise. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And I'm going to release down. And I'm just going to rub out my upper thighs there because that takes a little bit of work to keep that leg out and extended. And I'm going to take the opposite arm straight forward, the other leg out, and I'm going to take some circles. And it happens that this side started both going clockwise. And I'm going to reverse and go counterclockwise now. It took me so long to try to figure out what that meant. And there's always lefty loosey, righty tighty when you're trying to do something construction wise. And now see if you can take one clockwise and one counterclockwise. Or the opposite, if you did that earlier, now you're taking both clockwise or counterclockwise. And now I'm going to go. So my wrist is going clockwise, my leg and my foot is going counterclockwise. Coordination here. And releasing. And just picking up each foot one at a time. Good. And now we're going to go ahead, bring our legs together as close as we can, and take my hands on the outside of my knees and just give a little bit of hug. So I can hug my legs in a little bit closer. When I do that with open arms, pressing in, do you feel it right up here? Okay, right in here in the pecs. At least that's where I'm feeling it. And in my biceps and in my triceps. Opening up my fingers, pressing in. And releasing, exhale. And now I'm going to come forward. Let my arms just swing and dangle. And maybe my chest comes and rests on my thighs, or I stay at kind of a quarter of a way down, but let those arms go wherever you are. Some of you that don't have any problems with dizziness or anything coming out from having your head lower, you might take your head and let it come a little bit lower. Let those arms be springing back and forth on their own. And then little by little, bringing yourself up. Good, just kind of like little empty coat sleeves here, right? Loose coat sleeves. Everything just feeling itself. And let's take that back and forth, crossing our center line and taking one arm over the top and the next time the other one over the top. Just finding that nice kind of openness and letting go. And now I'm taking a little more of my body into it. Okay, you see that? Rocking with my body. And coming into stillness here. Taking a few breaths, feeling that vibratory nature, what I just did, flowing into my fingers. Feels good. My legs are still together because I'm going to work into my eagle pose here. So I am going to use left and right here, but you can always do the opposite or just mirror what I'm doing. So one foot staying down, that's my left one, my right crosses over, but to you that might look the opposite. If this is not available, then we take our foot down, or we use one of those blocks, right, to assist in keeping the leg from sliding down the lower part of your other leg, or you are crossed. Okay, maybe some of you double cross with that leg behind, and if so, then you're really giving that nice squeeze to the genital system too. So from here, I have my right crossing over my left. My arms come up, inhale. And from here, I'm going to take my right under my left. Make that cross, come here, release, come back. Let's just do this a bit here, instead of rushing into that full pose. And then here, we're taking arms up and then taking them back. Bring them up and take them back. Staying in either one of those places, or continue to wrap your arms around one another. Okay, so we've got our legs double wrapped, maybe, and our upper arms double wrapped, squeezing in to the top part of our body that's touching one another, and the lower part of our body, squeezing everything into the midline, finding our breath as we do. And then taking 2 circles in one direction and 2 circles in the opposite direction. Rising up high. Exhale, take those elbows to your knees and bow down, bowing, sleeping eagle. Head rises, elbows rise, looking up. Exhale, taking it on down. Throat tuck round. Inhale left. Exhale, take it on down. Rising up. And one more time, curl tuck round. Taking ourselves up. Exhale, releasing our arms. Oh yeah. And let's go ahead and just fly like eagles now. We'll keep our legs crossed for a little bit longer. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, take it down. Good. Inhale up. Exhale down. Releasing that leg. And let's open up our legs and just pound a little bit. Pound, pat. That's a better word for what we're doing. Patting the feet. Taking them in a little bit of a run here. Real low though. And then coming into sitting transition in from our one elbow to the other side through our mountain pose here, Tadasana. I'm gonna look down at my feet. Oop, this right one went forward again, or the left one came back, but I want to even them up. Just mindfully, constantly, cautiously reminding ourselves to take a look down. What's going on with our feet? But we don't want to take a look down about what's going on with the feet when we're moving forward, right? That would not be good. But just stop sometime and just say, okay, what are my feet doing? I want to try to bring them back into that parallel position, or at least maybe if one's out, little by little, we just notice and we bring it in a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more through time, so that we can retrain our feet, our legs, the rest of our body to come back into that good alignment. And sometimes going to a chiropractor will help that too, because our bodies just learn these habits, and sometimes we have to have it be kind of readjusted and reworked so that we can redo that memory, that muscle memory. So now I'm going to reverse, and I'm going to keep my right foot planted. I'm going to let my left foot come up and cross over. That's not working. Then I come and find that block across somewhere on the side of the front of my leg, or bring my foot over. And maybe finding that squeeze there wherever I am, or taking that front top foot behind the ankle of the back leg and finding that squeeze there. Taking my arms up, inhaling. Exhale. Cross in the opposite way that you did before. Take your arms out. Cross again. Opposite way. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze. Bring yourself out and take yourself in. This time just hold and squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Love, love, love yourself. Hug, hug, hug yourself. Staying here, or taking your arms so that they start to come perpendicular to the ground. And let's just practice that a little bit here. And again, your lower body can be squeezing or relaxing. And then so staying here, or taking and crossing and double crossing your arms so that forearms are perpendicular to the ground. And from here, let's take torso circles. Okay. Using the strength of your core here. And reversing. Good. And inhaling, lengthening. Exhale, take myself into bowing. Keep going with your flow. Only bow your head as low as what's comfortable for you. Maybe you just keep the head from bowing at all and just taking elbows towards knees and just follow with your shoulders coming down. And your head not bowing. See what works, see what feels right. You don't want any dizziness here. Use your breath. And take yourself here. And bringing yourself up. And exhaling, arms down. And bring yourself up. And let's do some floating up and down with those arms. And soaring and flying. And see what our vision is today. A beautiful meditation earlier. Today, we visualize being by the ocean. Maybe you're a seagull now instead of an eagle, and you are flying over the waves of the ocean or the coastline there. Take your hands down. Release those legs. And take your heels out a bit. Let your legs straighten out. Take your hands on the chair behind you. Press down. Let your heart rise up a bit. Feet are flat. Legs are long. Just coming out of having them bent like that for so long. And then taking yourself up. Come onto your heels. And then windshield wiper. Knees. Hips. Feet. Left and right. Because in doing this, we're getting some of that internal and external rotation. When we just had our legs crossed, we were doing a lot of the internal rotation, which is really important for us to have that as well as the external, which we're going to move into now. Let's go ahead and open up wide into our goddess legs, goddess pose. Hands on hips. Come up to the balls of your feet and drop down. Bring yourself up. And take yourself down. So now we do have our feet out and our heels in, okay? So noticing that external rotation. And if you find that in your daily walk and gait, then you know and you're realizing what it is you're going to start working on little by little, okay? And then from here, go ahead and take your feet so they're forward, kind of in a neutral position. That brings our knees in a little bit as well. And then we're going to let our knees cave in, come onto the inside of your feet, and just feel that internal rotation going on there. And then bring yourself back to neutral feet, and then take the toes out, heels in, and let's just shift. So I'm coming up of one sits bone onto the ball of one foot, coming over to the other sits bone, coming onto the ball of the other foot. And I'm going to do that one more time each side. And I'm shifting my body over like I did with that lateral action. And now I'm going to add those arms. Arms come up, shift over, take my arms over as well. If this is a lot for you, just come back to hands on hips and just rise up and down from your feet. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Bring yourself back. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Bring yourself back. Hands come down. Good. And now we're going to do a little bit of that Charleston. So bring in your feet a little bit and press out and then bring them in. Okay. So I'm not sure if this is how the Charleston went. Could have been something like this. Maybe. No, I think it was this. That feels like it was right. So in and out. And just crossing again. This is really good for our brain to do this kind of crossing through the center line. It's good for our hips when we go from external to internal. And now let's come into Goddess and arms rise up. Inhale, exhale, pull down Goddess, look up, and then take yourself in. Exhale. Inhale, pull back, shoulders, heart lifts. Exhale, curl, tuck, round. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Bring yourself up. Inhale. Exhale. Come on down into a side stretch. Forearm comes to one thigh. Bring yourself up. Inhale. Exhale, bend, come on over. Yeah. Bring yourself up. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. One more time, each side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Good. And take it over. Bring myself up, arms up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale up. Goddess. Fire breathing, Goddess. Breathe out from your mouth. Inhale, one more of those. Make noise. Inhale up. Exhale, hands come down. I'm going to go ahead and heel toe my feet in. Find myself in mountain pose. Tadasana. Taking a few breaths here. And then I'm going to open my eyes. And what happened? This right foot went forward again, or the left came back. The important thing is I got to find knee and ankle. So I do have to move one foot back a little bit. I do need to move the other one forward a little bit. And so I have habits that I'm discovering too by looking down. My one foot wants to go ahead, all right? And it doesn't stay in alignment like the other one. So good for me to figure that out and to pay attention to that, all right, for alignment purposes. And then just taking arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands through heart center. 2 more times. Little arms and salutations here. When you come to heart, repeat 3 times going in the opposite way. Inhale up. Exhale down. The Cancer Center. Inhale up. Exhale down. Hands rise up. Exhale down. And taking hands, covering your heart space, or bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra. Taking a few breaths together as a community. And when I say together, doesn't mean we're necessarily taking them in and out at the same time, but you're breathing in, I'm breathing in our own rates. I honor that place in you where the universe dwells. I honor that place in you where there is love and there is light and there is peace and there is joy. For when you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, we are one, we are connected. From my heart to yours, thank you for your ever presence. Namaste. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in to this pre-recorded class. And I'm happy to have you any place, shape, time, and keep paying attention to those feet, where they go, what they do. So take care, guys. I'll see you in vivo, virtual vivo, in the following week. Mark should be fine, and I don't need to be over him. But today is a surgery. This is the Tuesday 427 class. He spends the night, and then 428, I'm hopefully picking up from the hospital. And then I'll be kind of hovering over him and doing what he allows me to do to take care of him. And he'll be taking care of himself as well. And thank you guys so much. Take care. Namaste.